Good evening and welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm your host Joshua Solomon, and with me as always is the Honorable J.P. Marzullo. How you doing, J.P.?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. It's not quite as cold as it was last week, but...
No, and the snow kind of ticked me off a little bit because it surprised me because you can't trust what they say on TV, you know. So I figure they say between 3 and 24 inches, so you've got to figure out where it's going to fall. So I think we had close to 8 inches of snow.
Oh, really?
Where you are?
Yeah. I think we got about 4, maybe.
Yeah, well, you live in the city. I live in the country. That's probably why.
Yeah. All right, tonight, our guest, longtime guest, you've been a guest on this show for at least 10 years or more.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a host for 5.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. What time flies?
So, it does.
Former state representative
Yes.
John Burke.
Yes.
I love it. It's really good to have you here, John. It's been a while since we've talked, and
Yes.
I'm glad, it's good to see you. I can remember a trip we took with, you had an old Cadillac or something, and me, you, and Mark Warden.
Yes.
Where the heck did we went to?
I'm trying to think where we did go.
We went to some lakeside beach, like.
Yeah.
I forgot what that was about.
Yeah, boy, we had
that was a fun trip.
That
though.
was.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had some fun at the State House. We had more fun when you went up. I can remember every time John went up, half of the Democrats would get up and walk and go into the A room because they didn't want to listen to him. And we kind of did the same thing to them, too. We had several of them that we would just walk out. Because,
Yeah, but my experience with John is that the reason that the Dems and the Liberals walk away is because they know they won't win an argument anywhere near this man.
well, that's true. There's some truth to that. Yeah?
Yeah, they don't like the truth.
No, absolutely. No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
But there was some fun. How many years did you actually serve?
I served 12.
12 years.
Yeah.
And
I was looking at the Senate, and I still am looking at the Senate a little, but, at this point I'm not going.
Yeah. I can remember we had some talk about you running for governor at one time.
Yeah, a lot
Right.
of people would
Well,
like
there's a
that.
paycheck in that one.
There is. Well, a lot of people have asked me to run for Hillsborough County Commissioner or Hillsborough County Sheriff,
Oh,
because you don't have to be a policeman.
yeah,
to
I
be a
know
sheriff.
that. Yep, I knew that. Yeah.
And there's a
That's
bunch
kind of interesting.
yeah. There's a lot of good
If
guys
you-
over there, I think, and I think I could.
If you become a sheriff, you got to wear a cowboy hat.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's gotta be-
aviation
yeah,
glasses,
yes,
even though our president has them. But yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, we could get him that
I used
car.
to wear glasses. I had cataract surgery. Boop, down the glasses went.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Some people, I've only been a year or so now.
Right.
And, so when people see me,
Something's different.
yeah.
Did he shave? Did he?
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just need a couple terms off to get as my wife says, I am nesting for my retirement.
There you go.
So I'm renovating the house and getting all that stuff taken
Yeah.
care of and making sure everything. We just got to trust. If anybody has a will, look at doing a trust.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, night and day.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I feel so much better now. And what I like about it is now I'm homeless. I don't own my house. The
Right.
trust owns
The
the
trust
house.
owns it. Yep.
Yes, and
Yep.
I'm going, that's kind of cool.
It is cool. Who you going to leave Big Chicken to? That's what I was.
Well, yeah, we need to fix that.
Need to fix it.
Big Chicken's not, she hasn't gotten into the trust yet. But,
So
but,
your
so
dog died.
well,
What,
that was a
last
couple
year
years
was
ago.
2 years
oh,
ago.
no, geez, you know what, Annie's. We've had Annie 5 years, so it was before
Really?
that. Yeah.
Wow.
I know it, isn't that something how time just
Yeah, it
disappears?
does. It does.
Yeah, we had Sam, and he was a good boy, and
Yeah.
he passed. And,
Did you?
and then we got a new Annie dog through Hot Dog Day. 'cause
I was
they-
just going to talk about
Oh,
Hot
yeah.
Dog Day.
There's no more hot dog days.
Yeah, it's sad.
They've talked about bringing it back, and I told them I would help them. It's a tremendous amount of work,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if anybody's up there willing to do it. Yeah.
No, it is a lot of work. I can remember helping out. You had me collecting
Yeah.
garbage. I think you gave me one of
Oh,
those
yes.
great jobs.
Yes.
Here, you take the plastic bags, fill them up, and
but it takes months to prep
oh,
for 2 hours
Right.
of time.
Yeah, well, because
Right.
you need donations, you need
Yeah.
you need time, you need to make sure that you got enough people moving things around because equipment has to be moved on site
Yeah.
and off site, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had,
there's lots that goes into anything like that.
well, we had New Hampshire-made hot dogs from North Country Smokehouse over in Claremont. They made them right there. They gave me
Yeah.
a sweet deal. I think they almost gave me restaurant price.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
was,
how much did you raise, do you think? If you,
total in the 10 years I did
Yeah.
it, was it $43,000 for 10
Wow.
different dog groups.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot
so
of
it's
money.
$40,000 for
43, yeah.
for
Different-
10 years, right? So 10.
Yeah,
So basically 10
about,
days.
About $4,300
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
One year I did raise 8,000.
Yeah.
And then my first couple years I'd raise, 2,500,
Yeah.
which was still, for a starving dog group. And what I always looked for, I did pick the SPCA, which, I'm glad I did, but I kind of wished I didn't because, before and after that, I said, you know what? I want to pick a dog group that is not starving, but starving.
Yeah,
With no staff. I
Right.
want it to go to the animals.
right.
And, so I found a bunch. Motley Mutts over in Goffstown, I mean, they work hard. And I said, that's where I want my money to go to, the money that I raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just unbelievable, the support at the State House I had,
Oh
both
yeah,
sides.
it was really fun. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the first time I talked to some of the Democrats actually.
Yeah,
Because they'd actually come and I would always give them a hard time. So did you donate for those 6 hot dogs on your plate or,
yeah.
or not? What did you do?
Well,
you had to embarrass them once in a
Yeah.
while. To,
Well, I know the last day I was at the State House, so it was October of, not last year, but the year before,
Yeah.
we had Veto Day.
Yep.
So we went up, it might have been September, and I gave my last speech, and it was just so funny. It's on YouTube. If you look it up, Representative John Burt's last, House speech or something like that, it'd probably come up on YouTube. But I had everybody, almost everybody. There were some people, I think most people were happy to see me leave, which is okay because I told them when
It
I
was
went up
time.
there,
Yeah.
I said, you know what, I'm going to be as friendly as I can. I'll like
oh
everybody.
yeah, yeah,
But I'm not going to be your friend.
right,
I'm there for a job. The voters put me there to work hard.
right. And you did.
Yes.
You absolutely
Yes.
did.
Yeah, and I think you earned what's the thing that you earned a perfect score on New Hampshire Freedom.
Oh yeah, New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. I was
Yeah.
100%
Every year, I
Every
think.
year,
Yeah.
and I never missed a House vote in 12 years. That's unheard
Yeah.
of. I
Yeah.
promised the voters, and what was really funny is one time I had heart surgery in my first term on June 4th, 2012. And the doctor has me laid out there, and he says, all right, do you have any questions? And I said, I do. I got 2 questions.
What bills were brought up today?
Yeah. Well, this was on Monday. And he goes, all right, what are they? I said, I understand you're going to put me 90% under. And that was before my stomach surgery that
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to lose a lot of weight. I lost 135 pounds. I'm still a big guy, but,
Yeah.
I was a lot bigger.
Oh yeah,
You remember me.
I do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so I said, I heard you're going to put me 90% under. I want to be 100% under in case something goes wrong. I don't want to know. I just want to go away.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you're a big guy, John, and at 90% we can have you move, we can tell you to do stuff. You aren't going to remember nothing, which he was
It's,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. And he says, what's the second question? I said, I promised the voters I would be there, and the 6th is the last House session. I'd like to be at the State House. John, do you realize you're having heart surgery? They put 2 stents in me. And I said, I do. Can we speed it up a little bit? And he laughed, and the next day the nurse comes in and she goes, who in the hell do you know? This is at CMC. She was not happy. And I
He
said,
let you out.
and I'm like, I don't know why. She says, well, I just got orders from upstairs that if you go down and pass a stress test, you get to go home today. I said, really? Damn. So I went down once they put 2 new stents in me.
Yeah, you were fine then.
I was flying. I was down there jogging away and
Yeah.
passed it. And
How have you felt since then?
Oh,
Everything's good?
Night and day. I just went and saw. I have to
You
go
have to
once
check
a
up,
year.
sure.
Yeah, once a year I go back see
Yep.
my doctor. Sadly, he's retiring. Oh, that bothered me.
Yeah, now we have to try to find someone else.
Yeah, the
we
guy's
just
great.
went through that.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
he's I think I can say his name. At CMC, Dr. Graff is just the best doctor I've ever.
And he's retired, or
He is retiring. So
Yeah.
this is the last time I saw him 2
Oh,
weeks
wow.
ago. He cleared me for my CDL license.
So
He
if the
says-
viewers need to have something done right away, they ought to
Yeah,
contact
oh, yeah.
him, because
Yeah,
he'll be
yeah,
out of
quick
here in
about
a
it.
couple of weeks.
Yeah. But real quick is on the House floor on my last speech, I didn't realize I made a lot of people cry. I brought my wife up. I said, Mr. Speaker, my wife says I shouldn't get up here and talk because I get emotional, and I was pretty emotional. I was holding it back,
Sure.
from losing it, because it was my last speech. And,
Yeah.
I really dedicated myself up there.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
voters were very generous to me on my votes. I mean, I would win overwhelmingly. It wasn't like most reps would win by 100 votes or sometimes 300.
No, you were, yeah.
My last time was 2,750 votes. I mean, that's just unheard of to win in such small districts.
Yeah.
And, so I knew both sides were voting for me.
Sure,
And,
sure.
So I just talked about my wife. I said, I want to bring up my wife. I said, I couldn't have done this without her.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I know there's a God because she is a gift from him to me.
Yeah.
And you can see Teresa in the background; she's choking up. And the whole everybody was
yeah.
saying how they choked up. And,
Oh, yeah.
it was a good speech. So
Yeah.
it was my last speech, and so I'll cherish it. And I may go back one day, but
No.
I miss it, but I like not being there.
I understand that.
12
Yeah.
years is a long time.
Yeah, but look at how much money you made.
It's easy
Well,
to
that's
get
it.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, $100 a year.
Yeah, we're all
minus
in for the
Social-
money, right.
Social Security.
It's easy to get overwhelmed with all of the turmoil going on, right? And,
Yeah.
and even when things are going good, it's still a little overwhelming to be in a position, basically have a job where your job is to argue all day, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to
Win votes.
convince people and win votes
Yeah.
and move the state and the country forward. And
Yeah.
so it does wear on you.
Well, at that point, I knew the governor was going to sign my bills.
Yeah.
And I was the gun guy up there. I think
Yep,
most
of
people
course.
know that.
Yep.
So we are now a sanctuary state. So if the feds want to come up and arrest one of us for breaking a federal law, a gun law, they can. But they can't have help with our local
Yeah,
police.
they can't call the local sheriff. They
Yeah.
can't
Right.
call the state police. The
No.
state police will
Yeah,
not
so
help
I
the
knew
feds.
Governor Sununu was signing
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Then we can carry guns on snowmobiles and
Yep.
four-wheelers. That was my bill.
Yep,
And,
I remember that.
constitutional carry, and that was the main reason I went there was constitutional
Yeah.
carry because I came from the old Vermont, not
Right.
what's there now.
And,
Right.
and that kind of, because that was, constitutional carry was 7 years ago now?
Yeah.
7, 8 years ago? I
6
mean, that was a while
Oh,
ago.
it might
yeah.
have been 8. It was 15.
Yeah.
I think it was 15. JP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
But since then, it's been like a domino effect with the rest of the country.
Yeah.
We've got something like 25 states.
We're at 27. Florida was the last state. I am very crucial on Florida because it is the worst constitutional carry. I mean, they have it, but it is bad. I mean, I look at it, it's not New Jersey bad and it's not Chicago bad. I'm glad they have it because
Yeah.
now they don't need a license.
Right.
But they're very restricted down there where they can carry. Here, we can carry a gun anywhere we want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than a court.
Right.
Right, right, exactly.
But, schools, hospitals.
I
everything
can
we
remember
want.
when they said that you couldn't carry when you're in Reps Hall,
Yeah.
and you could hear guys, including me, their firearm dropping and hitting the floor, and you look at the guy next to you right away.
What do you want me to do with this?
But here's the thing to that. If you didn't, some people would talk about it. They're going to carry
Well, that's the
anyway.
whole point of concealed. Just keep your mouth
Yeah,
shut.
that's it. That's exactly what I was
That's the
going to
whole
say.
point.
If you kept quiet about it, because my feeling always was, if somebody came in, guy that wants to shoot some of us, and they know you have a gun, you're the first one to go.
It's
You know?
been proven time and again. I remember back in the 80s, my parents lived in Atlanta, so I was down in Georgia quite a bit. And just outside of Atlanta is a little town called Kennesaw, or a city called Kennesaw. And Kennesaw had a really big crime problem, burglary, home invasions, all of that stuff. And so the town council made an executive order that specified that everybody who lived within the city limits of Kennesaw is required to own a firearm,
Really?
right?
That would be a cool
And
bill.
they didn't actually enforce it,
Yeah.
but they just passed it,
Ah.
right?
Yeah.
And then they made a big deal about it. They had this little old lady who lives alone go to a gun store, and she bought her first gun. She got training, and she brought it home, and they, news story. Guess what Kennesaw, Georgia didn't see for the next 10, 15 years?
Yeah. Any
Well,
crime.
Home invasions,
Yeah.
burglaries.
Really?
Like, it was
Yeah.
almost immediate.
Yeah.
You make it known
It
that
works.
everybody owns a gun,
Yeah.
and the bad guys decide they don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to something I didn't do at the beginning of the show. We are sponsored by Wilson Hill Pistol Club, the oldest sports shooting club in the state of New Hampshire. You can go to the website. If you're watching this on a live stream and not on Channel 8, you'll see the website on the screen below, right about here. And you can go there, and the training schedule is like this. This Saturday, there are 2 Utah concealed carry courses. One from 8 to 12 and one from 1 to 5 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
You can go to the website and you can sign up. Right?
should do that.
They're 4-hour classes. If you get your Utah concealed carry license and you get your New Hampshire state license, which you don't need thanks to John Burt, but if you get your state license, your New Hampshire pistol permit, that will allow you to also get a Utah permit after taking this class. You take the test, and at the end of the class, they help you put it in an envelope and ship it off for you.
Wow.
So if you've got your New Hampshire license, go take the Utah class. When you're done, you will get back what I got in my wallet. It's a little ID card. Looks like a driver's license, but it's a Utah concealed carry license. Allows you, along with your New Hampshire license, to carry in 38 states.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Um,
pretty cool.
Because see, I have Florida, but
Right.
everybody says I need Utah
Yeah.
to complement Florida.
Right. And so I think if you get Florida, I think you're going to get 2 or 3 more states.
Yeah.
Right, so you'll be up in the 40s out of 50 states.
Wow.
And so,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you travel a lot, if you move around a lot, I go to Florida 3 or 4 times a year. Stick your gun in a lockbox, stick it on a plane. You
Yeah.
can travel with it, right? Learn how to travel with your firearms,
Yeah.
and you can take it and be protected wherever you go. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. I usually do that at the beginning of the show, but this was a good segue into it.
Yes.
So, sign up. There's space available this Saturday for either of the classes, I believe. So.
Now, do you think they'll do it again? Because I have to work this. I only work one
Yes.
weekend a
So
month.
there's only
And
like
this
2
is it.
or 3 instructors in the state of New Hampshire because they have to go to Utah to get certified to teach the Utah course,
Oh,
and then
wow.
they got to come back, right? So there's only like 2 or 3 instructors. 2 of those instructors are actually part of our club. So.
Wow.
Well, they'll definitely do it again.
Okay, because I know my brother is doing it this month. February. He's doing it in February at in Florida. He's a resident of Florida now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can take the Utah class right here with our licensed instructors, and they will
Pretty
stamp
cool. I
it,
need
sign
to
it,
do that.
and get you certified
But,
for wherever you
he's
travel.
driving all over the
Yeah.
state, all over the
You
country.
still
in his
can't go to the
motorhome.
communist states like
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, California, but
But I hear that could change because you heard that Supreme Court in Massachusetts.
yeah,
You know, they put that guy in. A friend of mine. They put him in jail because he was carrying in Mass. They put him in jail for 18 months, whatever it is. He brought it to the Supreme Court and they threw it out. But it took him a long time to get
right.
there. And they're saying if he's allowed to carry legally in New Hampshire, he can carry anywhere in the United States, basically, is what they said. So now it's in the court system. So, all my gun friends
we
says,
need a few of these to make it up to the Supreme Court.
yes, don't
right?
do it. Don't go down Mass and test it
Yeah.
because it's brand new.
Right.
But the Supreme Court in Mass, appointed by Democrats,
Nice.
sided with the Second Amendment and said, if he's allowed to carry in New Hampshire, he's allowed to carry here. No. So they've already put the red flags up saying that
Yeah.
they can't. So now it's going to go through the court system
If-
more.
if
Probably going to
someone, it would have to be someone like this. Someone who really has to have a lot of stamina to stick it out because
Yeah.
they use the court system to kind of
Slow it
take
down.
take
Yeah.
you and just wear you down and
Yep.
make you settle and make
Yeah.
you plead to a lesser charge that you wouldn't normally plead to because
Yeah.
it's costing you money to defend yourself.
Yeah.
But what they really need is for a couple of these guys to kind of make it all the way to the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court just did they slapped down the firearm ownership law in D.C. They slapped
Yeah.
down New York, right?
Yes.
Told New York you can't do
Yep.
that. So they're doing that, right? And you probably on the show with me and Gary one time. Gary always used to lament the fact that he can't carry in Massachusetts for a couple of very solid reasons, right?
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, they have a helmet law, right? And Gary, like me, helmets are good, and I wear them most of the time. But there are times when you're a bike rider,
Yeah.
and taking your helmet off is a little bit of extra freedom. It feels good, It's,
Personal choice.
and so accidentally crossing an imaginary line on a map without your helmet, and I've done it myself, gives a Massachusetts police officer cause to pull you over,
Yeah.
right? And it's easy to cross that line accidentally, especially if you're cruising up and down the beach in
Yeah, if
Hampton
you go
and
to
whatnot.
if you go to Browns, I had that happen
exactly.
to me.
I can't go
went
to
around and
Browns
turned
without-
around, and I
yeah.
thought, "Holy God, I'm carrying, and I've just rode into Massachusetts."
Exactly. But
I
you,
didn't even think
you
of
do
that.
that
Yeah.
without a helmet. Now you've got a cause to be pulled over.
Yep.
You get pulled over. Hey, do you have any firearms on you? Well, obviously Gary was always going to say yes, right?
Yeah,
I mean, because we are who we are, right?
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, just by accidentally crossing a
Yep.
line and not wearing his helmet, he becomes a felon.
Yes.
And that's the problem with the system.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be fixed, right? I've got a driver's license in New Hampshire. That's good in every state in the union,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Any license that I have should be good anywhere.
Well, and also any constitutional right should be.
Well, absolutely.
Why is it just the Second Amendment? All my other rights, I could go down, whoever the governor is, or Mayor Wu that doesn't like white people in Boston. She won't invite them to their Christmas parties.
Right.
Yay, segregation.
Yes. So I could go down there at her office and hold a sign as much as I want, and there's nothing they can do because it's the First Amendment. But then the second I get to the Second Amendment,
Yeah.
it's restricted, and I'm like, but my third, fourth, and fifth
Everything
isn't?
else is fine, but that.
Yeah.
Well, the Dems just introduced a bill in Washington to criminalize militia activity in the United States.
Of course.
No.
Right? Of course, that flies right in the face of the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
And so they're making these moves, and they're doing it hard and fast before this November, right? They are trying their best here.
I would hope they would have no Republican support down there, or in some
I don't know. The
Democrat
whole
support.
point behind it is the whole Texas thing,
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, I don't know, are we?
Go ahead.
Everyone. Speaking of Texas, we have something like 25 states that have pledged support for Texas.
Yeah, I
and
heard
the-
we are
and
one
their
of them.
border.
Yeah, we are.
And
I like that.
and at least 10 states have already sent their National Guards down there
Wow.
to supplement the Texas National Guard, right? And there's this talk of Biden, federalizing the Texas National Guard. I've done some research.
Kenny?
Yes, federalizing the National Guard in a particular state is something that a president can do
Ah,
with the permission of that state's governor,
oh,
unless Congress declares a war. Right?
Well,
Unless
there is no war.
it's in war or something like that. So they keep talking about, hey, Biden should federalize the National Guard just like Eisenhower did, right? During the segregation, actually, right? Like, because they were enforcing
Right.
civil rights acts, right?
yeah.
They keep saying they should do that, but you need the permission of the governor. So if the governor says no, then there are very narrow reasons why the president, he has to come up with a very good darn reason to take over the Texas National Guard.
And he must know this.
Biden doesn't know anything.
Well, that's yeah, it's elder abuse. Is what it
It is.
Yeah,
Jill
it
needs
is.
to be in jail. So.
is. Yes, she should.
Because we know anytime he's even halfway coherent at the microphone, he's drugged up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? He's absolutely drugged up. And then most of the time he's not coherent and he's wearing his hat backwards. So.
Yeah, it's hard now.
Yeah.
But along those lines, didn't we just have a bill that went through the House concerning New Hampshire's National Guard there was something, one of our guests,
Well,
that,
first of all, our National Guard, Hillsborough National Guard guys are on the border. They were deployed down there. They were sent down there.
Oh, to Texas?
Yes,
so
they
it
were
had to
sent
be
down
by
there.
Sununu.
Yeah,
right?
it was by Zanunu. He
Yeah.
sent them
There
down
was-
there.
There was something that Sununu was going to do. He was either going to sign him an executive order, or there was a bill going through, and we talked about it on the show
Who
not
was
too
on
long
there, do you
ago. I
remember?
don't remember, but there was something about redrafting the rules so that the feds can't federalize our National Guard.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Similar,
It sounds
it
familiar.
does sound familiar,
Yeah, it
but
does.
similar to this business where we've told the feds we're not going to allow our state troopers to enforce
Yeah,
the rules, right? If ATF wants to arrest you, they got to do it all by themselves.
that's right.
They got to send the crew up here and
Chances are they won't.
they got to
do it.
kill your dog all by themselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, and the other one I saw was the ATF is now rewriting the rules. They are now requiring you to have little floaties put on your guns while you're boating.
I heard that. Yes, because I wish they did
What?
that years ago because I lost all
You
my
lost some
guns.
guns,
Yeah, in a boat accident. Yeah.
You have to put floaties on your guns.
Yeah, just
Oh,
in case.
God, come
Because too many
on.
people are losing their guns in boat accidents.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is fun.
But now, why is the mayor of New York and Chicago upset with all the buses showing up? I love Abbott. Why are they all upset with all these illegals coming into their community?
They're sanctuary states or sanctuary city. You know, the mayor of Chicago or the governor of Illinois released a statement that they're calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Oh, yeah.
And my response
really?
is, why don't you call for a ceasefire in Chicago first?
Yeah.
Well, here's the wild thing.
and then all those immigrants in New York City who chased down and beat up
Oh,
two
that
police
I
officers
saw that.
yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see
Brutal.
that.
Yeah, and there's video of
Brutal.
it. So there's a whole
Really?
group of
And
illegal
they're
immigrants
running in and kicking them, backing
and
off. Another guy runs
beating
in
the
and
heck,
punches.
beating the heck out of police officers, and
Yeah.
they finally they were able to get up, and other police officers were arrested, but then they're released right out in the street
Yep.
again.
Interesting in,
Bail reform.
in Chicago, one of the most, highest, highest income towns. Can't think of the name of it right now. The
Lincoln Park, just north of Chicago. That's
well, it's in
that's
there
that
somewhere,
neighborhood
but the mayor suggested that they volunteer to have immigrants live in their house.
Oh, they
So-
did that in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
too.
so
Yeah.
there's nobody has signed up for that yet, but
Well, you saw how that worked
well-
on Martha's Vineyard.
oh yeah, it worked great.
Less than 24 hours, they had those people right
No,
off
they don't
the-
like brown people on Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Martha's Vineyard was in the news recently as well,
Oh, I missed it.
right? So they
Oh,
are.
I got to get back on the
They're, I guess someone in the Biden administration or Biden, they're looking to designate Martha's Vineyard as a low-income town, a low-income area, so that they can get government subsidies for
Huh.
electric vehicle chargers.
Oh my God!
Right. The whole
Jeez.
point is so that they can get subsidies to install these.
So
electric-
are we doing the absurd stuff now? Have we started that part of our?
Oh no, we're
That's-
doing the regular news.
That's incredible.
So my first question was, well, does Biden happen to know anybody on Martha's Vineyard that he's given this tax break to? Like,
Oh, he has a
Oh,
house
yeah.
there.
no, Biden.
Oh, Biden, yes. Obama has a house. Yeah,
Right.
isn't it like a 16-bedroom or something?
Yeah.
It's a $12 million mansion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, I guess we are. We've been doing this segment where we just come up with absurd
Absurd
stories.
things
absurd
that
but
go
true,
on.
Yeah.
right?
Some of them are funny. Some of them are really
I think we just
sad.
kind of segued
Yeah,
into
we-
it by accident.
Yeah, I think so too. All you have to do is follow the news. That's it. So, John, what have you been doing now that you're retired? I know what happened to me is I don't know how I got anything done before, and now I have
Yeah.
more things to do than I had then when I
Yeah.
retired. So, what are you doing? You're still working though, right?
Yeah, I still work a couple days, 3 days a week. I do a little
Yeah.
handyman work a couple days, so
Yeah.
I'm fairly busy. But I'm trying to renovate the whole house.
Oh, okay.
We're gutting it right out, and everything's brand new. We got the
Wow.
bathroom done.
Nice.
Yeah, Yeah.
Are you doing it yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing everything myself. And we just did egress windows in the basement. Don't wait until you're 63 years old to do those. Because I'll tell you, I got an approximate price of, like $1,000 each window to cut them. Just to cut it and throw it out in the hole. And they walk away, and then I still have to clean the mess up. And I'm going, $1,000? I can rent a saw. So I rented a, what saw is it? Cut and break. It's a Husqvarna cut and break. Incredible. Has 2 blades, cuts this deep in, it goes down, and then you snap it. You stick a rod in there, snap, 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 and then you stick your saw back in, and you can go up to 14 inches with water all outside. The mess was virtually nothing in the house.
Nice.
Like you're cutting through concrete, or
Yeah, 8 inches of concrete.
Really?
Wow.
And it took me 6 hours of the first window, 5 hours of the second window, and then I was dead for a week.
I mean, so
It's
you cut
heavy,
concrete
right?
out, but then you still got to install the window, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then, the windows were about $900 a piece. Phyllis is a great shopper. She knows how to find stuff. So she found these windows, because all of my other windows are Harvey's, built right here in New Hampshire.
Right.
And I wanted to go to Harvey. It was just, the timing wasn't right. And then, it takes a couple months to get the windows.
Yeah, it's all custom cut.
Yeah, and I said, for all of the other windows that we bought 6 windows from them, and, they're beautiful windows, so if you can do it, buy Harvey. But these windows, she found them, and they go up and down, and then there's a lever, you pull it, opens up like a door, opens up like a door, and then you walk right in, you crawl out. And we got a well in there, and,
Right.
and you crawl out in case of a fire.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, because we're putting a bedroom downstairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a 600 square foot bedroom. Yeah,
Wow.
it's going to be massive.
Really, that's a
Yeah.
big bedroom.
It is, yeah.
That's just a third of the size of my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Half the apartments in Manchester aren't that big.
Yeah.
And those are $2,000 a month.
It's gonna, it's all gonna be pretty fancy, old bathroom and everything.
So you're
else.
putting one downstairs for you, or?
Yeah, we
Or for
may,
guests, or-
yeah, it'll probably be guest, and we may rent it out, but, we're not sure what we're gonna do.
Chickens aren't moving in.
No.
No, well, he's done so many things with the chickens.
Yeah.
The chicken's got a better house on it.
The solar thing that opens the gate, I
Yeah.
remember that. Was
Yeah.
that solar? Or?
No,
that wasn't solar.
No, it's a coal electric.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
can
what
remember when
like.
you put that one in.
Yeah, no, I have, right now I have 5 automatic doors on my coops. I got 2 coops.
When the sun comes up,
Yeah, no, I do it, it's automatic,
yeah.
it's electric.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're drape openers. I made the doors myself.
Oh, so you can get up and you don't have to go outside.
No,
You just
no.
flip a switch and
No,
you
that's
let them
the
out
cool
for the
part.
day.
At
Oh,
7:15
that's
in the
cool.
morning, both doors open on the 2 coops I have. And then a half hour after dusk,
They go down.
they go down. And they never have failed, and they've always
And if any of the
worked.
chickens are still out,
Yeah,
it's
which is
not-
rare. Yeah, I
they
a
only
head
do
count.
that once.
And then, those Wise cameras, they're fairly inexpensive,
Yeah.
$35. I got 10 on the chickens, and I just bought another 5.
Your chickens are more secure than the White House.
Well, what's funny is
That's a lot of cameras.
I had Comcast, and I just wasn't getting good service, so I said, sorry, bye. And I went with Fidium,
Oh, yeah.
Consolidated Fidium. It's fiber optic, they're brand new. So I went with them, and when the installer was there installing it, he looks at this line going out to, because I ran all conduit out to the chicken coops for water and internet, and, so they got internet out there. And the guy looks at it, he goes, that's a Cat 6 line. I said, yeah. Where's it going? I said, out to the chicken coop. No way. I got to see this. So he goes out to my chicken coop in my little
It's
shed.
for all the cameras.
There's a Cat 6, and he's like, "Oh my God, a Cat 6 for chickens!" And what I'm, and luckily my young good neighbor next door, he's going to help me set up a live camera.
Oh, wow.
But then I've talked to other chicken people, and they said only do it for a period of time, not all the time. So Saturday morning, whenever I get this hooked up, I'll do it from Saturday morning at 6 a.m. to, say, 6 p.m. Because I use a rake. It's a child's rake. And I'll hold it out and go, okay, chickens, get in. I've never touched the chickens. My chickens live like royalty.
They do. I've seen
Yes.
that.
You know, they got a granite foundation on there. And, you know, Vermont granite. And so I shoo my chickens in with 2 rakes because it's like having 4 people. You know, once you get the 2 rakes out, well, people on the internet might go, oh, he's abusing his chickens. I'm not. But
Chicken
people,
abuse.
Yeah, so people don't understand. So I'm going to have set hours and then just make sure I don't do anything like real firemen, like you would with the chickens. You know, to not get in trouble.
Why would that be abusing chickens? You know,
Well, I think people just, they don't understand. And I think they would take the wrong impression of me taking care of my chickens. So I said,
Didn't we have, who in the house had a chicken bill? Was that Mike Moffett or what? Remember that
it
chicken bill?
was,
What was that?
I was one of the only ones that voted against it. He
I
wanted
remember.
to make it so if your chickens went on your neighbors, they could get you for trespassing.
That's right.
See, right
That's
now, well, the chickens are right now, but prior to this bill, if your cow, your horse,
Right.
sheep, and they
Goats,
listed
yeah.
goats went onto your neighbor's property and chewed up their garden or their lawn or whatever, you're liable.
Yeah.
yeah, I can get that. You
Yeah,
know?
me too. I understand. But then they said chickens weren't included. So if the neighbor is a jerk neighbor, which sadly I have great neighbors, I love my neighbors. Sadly, people do have jerk neighbors, and screw you, I'm not putting my chickens in. And then they just let the chickens roam all over the neighborhood, and then they rip up people's yards.
Yeah.
Well, now they can get that person for trespassing. Yeah.
You got to go the other way.
Oh, I fought that
remember.
bill.
That
Go
was
the other
so
way, the way Key
funny.
West.
Yeah,
you
it was.
walk down the street in Key West, and there's just chickens
Well, you-
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're in a restaurant and you have chickens running around.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah. Oh, really?
the thing
Right in
is,
the restaurant.
the thing is, on Key West, chickens are protected.
Oh yeah.
You can't touch them. You
Ah.
can't touch them. You
Sort of
can't,
like cows in India.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because apparently all the chickens on the island can trace their lineage back to a certain chicken that belonged to a famous, like
Hemingway.
Hemingway
They're Hemingway's
or- yeah,
chickens,
but-
just like the cats.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but that's why chickens on Key West are protected,
Yeah.
so they can wander anywhere
Ah.
they want. Right. So good luck having a lawn. You
Oh,
got to put
yeah.
up a fence, but it's one of those things. And of course, if you frequent Key West, you know that it's an adult playground, right? And so half the people there have been drinking all day,
Yeah.
and then 3 or 4 chickens get in front of you in the middle of the street, and you're like, like you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, chickens are protected. So
Yeah.
maybe one of you. Well, you're both former reps, so I was going to say we can get somebody to introduce just the opposite bill.
That's right, to protect my chickens.
Well, we should get a farmer to do it, like Howard
Yeah.
Pearl, but he's in the Senate now.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
Well, you could do it from there.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not
But
a
yeah,
bad
no,
idea.
my chicken, I've had them 14 years now, and it's strictly a hobby. But
They stopped laying.
Oh no, they're not. My first group of chickens,
Right.
my wife named them. I was like, Phyllis.
So you still have them.
Well, no, they're all past by now. They only last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
But now, every 2.5 years,
Swap them out.
yeah, I swap them out.
And the best time to introduce them to the other ones is at night.
Yes, it is, but I never do.
You don't. You let
That's
them,
why I have
you
two
let them
coops.
fight it out. Oh no, you have
No,
2
so,
coops.
yeah, so the babies come.
Oh, so you
and
can.
Yeah.
The
back and
old
forth.
girls last July, because I got the chickens July 10th. So July 1st, they got evicted, and there was no government program to keep them in the chicken coop,
Oh, I
and they
gotcha.
weren't happy either. They're
You
like,
have to do like a 30-day waiting period.
well, I did
give
give
their
them notice, a couple days notice. I said, chickens, the saloon coop is what I call it because it looks like a saloon. I said, you're going to the saloon coop, and that's where you're going to stay until December, and then...
You're going into the soup.
Phyllis did put her foot down. She, I can't do it at the house. So what we do is there's a bunch of Asian ladies that work at the nursing home.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and they said they come down. It's so funny. A good friend of mine, Cayenne, and she's an American now, but she's from the Philippines area, and she goes, and she has that accent, and she's so funny. And she goes, "You Americans, you're so weak." I said, "Why are we weak? And aren't you an American?" "Well, I am now." I said, "So why am I weak?" She goes, "Because you guys like fresh chicken, young chicken." I said, "Yeah, I do." She goes, that's unheard of in the Philippines area. You know, those chickens were too valuable for eggs, so they wouldn't kill a chicken until it was 2-3 years old when it stopped laying eggs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. so they come down with their.
And they take the old chickens.
Oh yeah, they bring their Depends boxes down, and you know they come down. We'll take 3, and I said, all right, and I give them my chickens, and they take them away, and then I got the new ones starting to lay. Yeah, there's
The first time when we first moved up here, we got chickens, and we ordered them from someplace in Ohio or something.
Yeah,
and
Murray McMurray is what.
Yeah, that's where I
yes,
got them. Yeah. So we got 25. I don't know why we thought we would. You know, it was a
That's
good
a
deal.
lot.
Well, the deal was good, 25
Yeah.
for X number of dollars. We thought, oh, this is cool, you know. We
2-3 dozen eggs per day.
Oh, yeah. So what happened was, 4 o'clock in the morning, we get a phone call. I'm saying, who the heck is calling us this time? It was the post office.
Oh yeah.
And the guy said, your chickens are here, and they're hungry, and they're very noisy. Can you come up and get them?
Now, do you still have chickens?
No, we
Oh,
gave
you
up on
should.
chickens about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. After our goats died, we just, you know, it was too much to do it. But it was fun, you know. It was, and we had plenty of eggs.
Well, it's very relaxing.
It is.
Yeah.
People don't understand it. You sit around and watch the chickens and say, what are
Yeah.
you doing? I'm smoking a cigar watching the chickens.
Yeah, my fire
and,
pit's
and having a beer.
Yeah, my fire pit's just outside the chicken coop, and I just sit there and you just watch the chickens.
It's like watching a fish tank.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
No,
people
you
say-
just, it is. It's very relaxing. And then I had to have a custom bracket made for a Burke Mountain chairlift, Burke Mountain ski mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I skied that mountain probably 300 times.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine, Mike Clausen, he calls me up and he goes, John, I heard you have a traffic light. You know, like 3 red, yellow, green. I said, I do. I got 2 of them. And he goes, I want one. I said, no, I ain't giving you one.
Trade them.
Well, he kept going back and forth, and then he goes, you aren't going to give me one? And I said, no. And he was my crane guy when I had the tree business.
Oh, no.
So he hangs up, and then he calls back a day later. He goes, you know, I thought of something. I said, what? I have 10 Burke Mountain chairlifts because they replaced their chairlift. And he says, you want one? I said, damn. I said, all right, I'll bring the traffic light right out. Yeah, so I got that, and I got 1 traffic light now. You know, my wife goes, and why do you guys want a traffic light? I said, because it's a traffic light. I said, other men are going to come here and go,
Wow, look at that. Yeah, exactly.
You got
That's
it
what
all
we
hooked
want.
up? It lights up? You got it all hooked up?
No, I have the controller.
I think I've seen the chair, by the way.
Yes,
I think
I think
I
you
have
have
seen
seen the
that.
chair,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know the story behind
Yeah,
it.
the
but
chair's up. But the traffic light, I want to put up, and I have all the materials. I just haven't put it up.
Well, that'll slow the chickens down, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. It's a good deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, but my wife doesn't understand that with men. Like, we're building my garage. You know, it's going to be 28 by 28, and we're not even going to put a vehicle in it. It's for my wood shop to build chicken coops. 'Cause when I retire, that's what I want to do, is build chicken
Build
coops
chicken
and sell
coops.
them, and bird houses, and that's,
Oh, yeah.
because you know, I have a place up in Vermont with a bunch of wood shop
Yeah.
tools in it, so I'm going to bring all that down.
Do you still have a home in Vermont?
No,
Just a
I
friend.
still, a friend's barn I use.
Yeah, okay.
And but I cut a huge pine tree down, and I want it cut in 8 by 8 beams for the lean-to on the barn.
Oh,
And
wow.
Phyllis goes, why 8 by 8? Why not 4 by 4? Wouldn't 4 by 4s? And I said, that's true, but you won't have the wow factor. I said, I want the wow factor. I said, because right now, I put a new porch on the front, and instead of 4 by 4s, which would have been code
Perfect, yeah.
and work,
You put 8 by 8.
I put 6 by 6. I should have done 8 by 8. And that is the number one thing people comment. John, I love the big timber.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm even going bigger. I'm going 8 by 8 rough cut lumber on my lean-to.
So our chicken coop was built by a guy that cut down the hemlock trees and
Right
made
there.
Yeah, and then the thing is, I always said, in case of an attack or bad earthquake or something, we'd move into the chicken coop because that'd be standing. My house would be gone, but that'd still be up. So I wanted him to build. He builds small sheds. He built, right? And I said to him, "Have you ever built a barn?" He goes, "No, it's just a bigger box." And so we went out and actually researched barns because we didn't know anything about barns. So we rode around New Hampshire looking at barns and stuff. So we built this barn. It's a pole barn that he
Ah.
built for me. He put the roof and everything on by himself.
Wow.
It was incredible. It's a great barn, and now it's loaded with old signs from political campaigns. I don't know what to do with them now. I was using them for target practice for
My
a
sign's
while.
probably in there, because I
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
Bob Clay,
yeah, he's
You
got
re-
You're
recently
using
died.
it for target practice. You're using the Democrat signs for target practice.
I don't have
right?
any Democrat signs.
yeah, not on your property.
No, I
didn't
never
steal-
took any
I didn't
Democrat
steal any
signs.
Democrat signs at all ever.
Too funny. But yeah, we built a great barn, and it held. Every year, we'd go get 120 bales of hay for our goats,
Wow.
and we could just put them up. I built the top part
Yeah.
to throw all the hay in. It would hold over that, but probably twice as much. And when it went outside. Obviously, it went the whole length, 24 feet. And downstairs, the barn was shorter, so the goats could go out and they had cover.
Now, how big is it? 24 by 24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out great. And then, so this guy was so good, I had him build me a woodshed after, and then he built me one of those run into things that used for horses.
Oh, yeah.
He built one of those for me. That's where my tractor lives.
Wow.
But it was fun. My legs and back can't handle it anymore. But we miss not going haying. People think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Just the smell of it, and
Yeah.
just loading that
It
hay
is.
in. We even bought a hay wagon so that we could do that. Yeah, we went big
I'm
time.
literally allergic to grass, so
What kind?
that does sound miserable.
Oh, for you.
all grasses.
Who mows your lawn?
My wife.
Oh,
Oh, so I see how this works. I got it. Yeah,
So,
I
no,
get
this
it.
is a true story. This is a true story. So,
Dear, I'm
so
allergic to grass.
when-
You're going to have to cut it.
When my mother owned the farm over in New Boston, we had a big old John Deere, brand new John Deere, and I would go out there with a big mow plate
Yeah.
on the back of it, and I'd mow 40 acres
Wow.
of field. But there's photographs of me when I'm done. I'm holding my son, and my face is just all puffed up and red,
Really?
and I was always miserable every time I mowed the lawn, right? Whether it was by hand, it wasn't the fact that I was pushing versus driving. I was miserable. I hated mowing the lawn. So my second wife was like, "Well, you need to figure that out." So went to the doctor. They did the whole test, all the allergy tests. You know how they put the patch on you and they put the patch on your back. And, it didn't take very long. I'm like, "You got to get this thing off of me." And, "Oh, you're allergic to every veneer of grass there is."
Ah.
Well, no wonder I hate mowing the damn lawn.
So you
So-
concreted to 40
so-
acres, right?
So we don't own that anymore. But so nowadays, I buy my wife the finest lawn equipment. All right, she's got lawn tractor that you can't buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. I have to go to a specialty lawn.
Yeah.
Like
Right, so
cadets or-
I go to like the Turf Depot and I get the bigger, better models, the Cadillac. So she's got the nicest lawnmowers and everything, and she loves doing it, right? But if she's out there mowing the lawn in the summer and there's other people walking up and down the street in the neighborhood, I feel horrible. Like, look at that guy. He's making his wife do the lawn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I feel like such a heel. Right? So once in a while I get out there and do it and I kind of tough it out, but for the most part she does it. And it's because any type of grass, hay, whatever, it just lays me out.
No, I hear
But-
what you're saying, because a year ago, or 2 years, it's been 2 years, I had a shoulder replacement. They
Oh, wow.
cut the old shoulder out, threw a new one in, and I can do whatever I want now, because I listened to them, listened to the doctors.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
John,
did
you've
everything.
changed.
Yeah, I did everything they told me. I said, I want to make sure
Somebody
this
told
works.
you what to do and you did it?
I did, yeah. With them guys, and I went to rehab and everything, a PT.
PT, yeah.
Physical, yeah. And I did everything they told me. Now, I'm rewarded with it. But that winter, I had my neighbor come over and plow.
Yeah.
I don't like plow trucks because, and it's not their fault, but the front lawns.
Oh, it
and-
tears
up.
everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
there's my wife shoveling, and I'm looking out the window going, I have this arm. You
Yeah.
know, but they said, don't
Yeah,
do it. And,
yeah.
you know, I felt terrible. And
Right.
so then I said, Phyllis, is there any way you could do it? Like, can you,
At
you know,
night.
put a camouflage face on?
So everybody thinks it's me.
Put my coat on. We'll shove T-shirts in to make you look
What
my
do the neighbors
size.
think? Because my wife do this.
Oh, my
It
God.
reminds me,
Oh, I
this is a
felt
true
bad.
story too. My grandmother had bad knees, and my grandfather drove her to the doctor, and she got checked out, and she had a bad fall, and the doctor told her, said, now Miss Solomon, you got to stay off your feet for a while, and rest and whatnot. My grandfather, he looks at the doctor, he says, well, who in the heck is going to mow my lawn? And the doctor was horrified. And Granny was like, you stop that.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like what I do with wood, right? So I
Yeah.
get my wood split,
Yeah.
but I have a 4-ton electric splitter and I tell people the pieces are too big. So I have to make them small enough so Donna can carry them in the house, because
Yeah.
that's the only way they'll get in there is
Yeah.
if she does it.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Oh,
Fun
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right, John. I got one more absurd thing I wanted to say, just because it was just outrageously absurd. Colleges in Canada
Oh, right. Yeah.
are now that have swimming pools are now setting aside time for black-only swimming lessons.
Why?
Yeah.
Segregation.
So,
So
Mayor
we're going
Wu- Mayor
backwards.
Wu's up in up there.
The absurdity here is that the Democrats, the liberals, in Canada is so far over the edge.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're further than us or I don't know, but they have convinced the minority communities that segregation is good. You should have your own areas for this, your safe spaces for all these things. And
That is absurd.
I'm looking
It
at this
is.
and I'm like, the only thing that these white liberal Democrats haven't done is put the damn pointy white hats on.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they haven't done. They have convinced the minorities that segregating themselves is the way of the future.
Oh,
It's just
jeez.
out of control. So
And what would happen if we wanted, which I wouldn't, white only time? I mean, they
Well,
would.
oh, you
know,
can't.
they would
It's history.
crucify
but
us.
that's the way it's been, right? You got the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Uh.
Well, that's been around for what 40
Lot of
years, right?
years, yeah.
You've had the United Negro College Fund, right? You have there was something. There was in Minnesota about 10 years ago. A kid applied for the African American a college scholarship, and he was denied
Huh?
because he was white.
Huh?
But he was born and raised in South Africa. He was African, right? I mean, these things like they everybody is being taught once again to
Yeah.
discriminate based on skin color. So, John, I wanted to thank you.
Yes.
You've been a guest on this show, like I said, for
A long time.
10 years at least,
Yeah.
a long time before even I joined, Gary, and you've been an integral part of the show, actually.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
there were periods of time that both you and JP kind of helped me get through that period, that really rough period where Gary was sick
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
after Gary
Yeah.
passed. So I wanted to thank you for being a long-time guest and
I appreciate that. Thank you.
extremely important part of Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. And you get one of our exclusive Rock, Paper, Hand Grenade coffee cups.
Well, that is pretty fancy. Thank you very much.
So
It's good to have you on, John.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yes,
But we
it
could
has.
have fun and laugh about things. So
Oh yeah, yeah. That's,
Really,
that's
and I
how you-
appreciate that.
In my eyes, that's how you win.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, keep a smile and just be friendly to people.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. How
we did.
when a Democrat ends up in a room full of MAGAs,
Yeah.
their view on who and what we are changes because we are nice people. We
Yeah.
always are.
Yeah.
So,
That's it, I think, for tonight.
right.
And next week, have Senator Kevin Avard on.
All right.
And he'll be talking about a Senate bill that he's putting through that has to do with women sports. It's very interesting, and I think you'll all like and enjoy what he has to say.
All right. And we'll see you next week.